Hi, I'm Sam, your inner voice and self-trust coach for women who refuse to choose between career success and being fully present with their kids. This is Journal Entries, where we break free from self-sabotage, reconnect with our inner wisdom, and live truly fulfilled lives in both of our roles. Let's dive in. Hello, welcome back to Journal Entries. I have been so excited to record this episode because this is the first episode in May that I've been doing my social media detox, and I have so much to share with you. I have a lot to share with you the week before this detox started up until where I am right now. And so what I'm going to be sharing with you is my thought process that kicked in just a few, I guess not the full week before, but a few days before when it really sunk in of like, I'm going to be deleting these social media apps from my phone, and logging out from my computer. I will not be allowing myself to go to these spaces. So many thoughts and fears started to creep in. So I'm going to be sharing you what those were. I feel like I was getting so many universe winks. And what that is to me is when I feel like I get a sign from the universe and they're just saying like, you're on the right path. I like to refer to them as winks. And so I'm going to share with you what those winks are because they felt like confirmation that you are doing the right thing, Sam, and like belief in myself and confirmation that I should be going through with this. Already, I have learned lessons. I have typed out 5 different lessons that I've learned. And it has not even been a full week. I'm recording this on May 4th, and I've already learned some lessons from this that I'll be sharing with you. And then at the end, I'm going to be sharing with you some strategic journaling prompts to reconnect yourself with your habits. And before I get into all of this, I feel like this goes deep. It's at least felt really deep to me. These are really big fears that I actually felt. And the lessons that I've learned, I learned them all through journaling, through taking the time to slow down, to question the thought that popped up in my head or the fear that I'm going to be telling you, and then to process it in my journal. And the way that I do that is through 5 specific prompts. And these 5 prompts are the exact ones that I lay out for you for free in my Calm Mind Blueprint. So click on the link in the show notes to download that. You can download it in a PDF format so that you can do it all at once. Or I also have it set up so that it's a 5-day challenge. So if you are super busy, you can do 1 prompt each day and it'll take about 2 minutes each day. A cute little bonus that I have with it is you get access to my private podcast, which is simply 1 episode for each of the prompts where I give you kind of like a behind the scenes and voice guidance through the prompt. So if you are going through something yourself or just really into this episode and want to learn how I actually navigate this in my journal, download the Calm Mind Blueprint. Okay, so let's get into the fears. When I was thinking about deleting these social media apps in a few days, which were Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, all the things, Pinterest even, I deleted Pinterest. I didn't have TikTok on my phone or Snapchat. But when I was thinking of this is going down in a couple days, I started to like sweat almost and feel like, what am I doing? Because I've been in business for 12 and a half years. Actually, I think over 12 and a half years, where my main source of marketing and sales, getting clients was social media. Legit, it was social media. And so I was like, what am I doing? I am running a business now. And for those of you that might not know, prior to 2 years ago, my business was in network marketing. I was a Beachbody coach. And so everything I did was on social media. And now I am strictly only doing my podcast and my journal coaching, my clarity coaching, self-trust coaching. And so my business needs to run. I feel like I'm cutting off my left arm. It feels like I'm cutting off a source of my livelihood. It felt so deep to me of like, what am I doing? I've been using this as a stream to generate clients and income and all of that. But then also I've been using it to talk to others. Like I've been showing up in my stories for as long as stories existed. Stories has not been a thing for those 12 years. I feel old even saying that, but I've been posting almost daily for that duration of time. I've been checking in on my mom friends. I've been doing all of the things. And so beyond the sales portion, I was thinking, I don't know that I'll have anyone to talk to. And I'll need to rely on me being the one to reach out to people via text. I think it was the day before I logged off of social media, I kind of started to panic and I reached out to a few people and I was like, hey, I'm not going to be on social media. Do you want to exchange phone numbers so that we can stay connected? And so I already have my best friends' phone numbers, but a few others, I was like, let's stay connected because I would love to grab coffee or something. I was trying to put in the motions of like, I need to make sure that I feel like I'm able to connect because for the past 12 and a half years, my main source of connection was social media, point blank. Like that is it. Besides my family, but my best friends like live. It's not like I see them every day or even every week. I actually saw one of my best friends is Ashley, and I hadn't seen her in a year. I saw her in March so like 2 months ago. And it was last March that I saw her physically, which is just so crazy. And she only lives 25 minutes from me. So that was my first fear of just this whole deleting social media and feeling like I was removing a part of my body like this because it was a stream of income and a stream of connection for me. The second biggest fear for me was that I'm relying now on my podcast for my business and my email because I won't have social media, right? So the only other areas that I have up and running for my business right now is my podcast and my email. And those two places I wrote about, I said they don't convert. What I mean by that is that not many people click the links in my email. If anybody is a business owner, you get stats on who opens your emails. And then of those people, who clicks your emails, what links are they clicking? So for me, I love like strategy and all of this. I love looking into all of that stuff. I get a lot of openings, but I don't get that many people to click the things. And that's what like, you click the things to learn more about what I'm offering or certain workshops to join and things like that. And then people also don't really click the links in my podcast show notes. So I just kind of felt like I get all of my sales from social media. I'm cutting that off. I'm relying on my podcast and email where people are, I see them, they see me, but there's no magic happening over here. There's nothing converting over here. So it's kind of like, WTF, Sam, what are you doing? This, though, is where I started to feel some universe winks. So those are the fears that were kind of ruminating in my head. I hadn't yet journaled on them. I kind of wrote them down. And then I started to just open up space for the fears to sit there because previous to journaling, I would be like, oh my God, this is happening. And then just shove it underneath the rug and think positive. Like, nope, well, this is the month that everyone's going to sign up for my podcast. This is the month that my click rates in my emails are going to skyrocket and just like positive Pam all the time, right? But this time I honored the fears and I just let them sit. And that's when I started to see these universe swings. So what they were was on my birthday on April 26th, right before bed, for some reason, I was like, let me just log in to this one website that tells you stats on your podcast. And I saw that my podcast, Journal Entries, is a top 5% podcast, which I think is such a huge honor. It's been a top 10% podcast for a while, which is also a huge honor, but it's also not very hard to do. I should look up the statistics around this because it's something crazy where most podcasts don't make it past 50 episodes. It might even be less than that. I think it's like most podcasts don't make it past 35 episodes or something. And so you are automatically in the top 10% once you have like 50 episodes or something like that. So that is enough to be celebrated because it shows that you are consistent. You are still here. You are putting out quality content. And so I was very proud of being in the top 10%. But the top 5%, I feel like, is a completely different caliber. And how you get there is by continuing to be more consistent with, not more consistent, just continuing to be consistent with putting out quality podcast episodes, making sure that your topics are relevant to your listeners so that they want to come back and keep listening. Also, any of the reviews on Apple where people type out, those count a lot. So if you have ever left a review for me, thank you, thank you, thank you. Or if you want to go ahead on over to Apple Podcasts and do that now. If you're listening from Apple, you can actually do it while you're listening and you don't even have to leave the app. And then also, if you leave a rating, just any stars on Apple or Spotify or wherever, all of that comes into play. So again, if you've left a review or rating, or if you're just listening now and this is your very first time, or if you're listening and this is your 138th episode, I'm not even sure what episode this is, but thank you for being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You are a reason why Journal Entries is a top 5% podcast. Coming back to the Universe Wings, I think that seeing that right before I'm leaving social media and relying on my podcast for the month of May, seeing that it's finally a top 5% podcast, it just felt like this sigh of relief of like the universe being like, I've got your back. You've got this. Like, keep going. You can do this. The second universe wink was when I went into my email. I went into my email because I have a friend helping me with a project, and she had asked me a question about subjects, like the subject lines that I have. And so I was just kind of looking through my most recent ones, and I realized that my open rates drastically boosted from an average of 34% to an average of 48 to 50% just in the past month prior to me announcing my detox, my social media detox, and leaving social media. 48 to 50%. That is huge. I think that I was always told, at least, that my open rates of 34% is really good, or good, like it's up there. And so when I saw 48%, I almost peed my pants. I was like, excuse me? What? So I saw that, and it again was just this, like, okay, I'm doing the right thing. There is potential here. My listeners, or not listeners, the people on my email list do want to hear what I'm saying. And it just made me feel comforted that I'm doing the right thing and that I should just trust my gut in this. Because if I backtrack, maybe I should have started with this. I wanted to leave social media because about a year ago, maybe, I had this vision where I wasn't on social media for my business. All I did was my podcast because I love talking to you guys, and my email because I do love writing, and working with my clients. And it felt so peaceful to not be creating content and trying to follow the algorithm, and also not getting lost in the doom scroll of social media, which to me happens when I create content because I log into the app to copy paste the caption that I already created, but then I need to find the photo or something and I get distracted with other people's pictures and then I just keep scrolling, and it's just this like vortex, and I just don't like it. And this vision just felt so peaceful. And I was like, wow, someday I want that level of peace. I want to experience and have a business where I can go about my day, not feel so distracted, and just truly feel like I love each part of my business that I do. And it wasn't until a couple of weeks ago when my son was visiting his dad that I was on a call with my business coach. And I don't even know what we were talking about, but she said to me, it sounds like you're doing a lot of shoulds in your business and in your life right now. And my response was, yeah, but I have to. Like, I have to write this email. I have to post on social media. I have to make myself dinner. I have to do all of these things. And she didn't really respond to that, but all she said was, for 1 week, I just want you to not do anything that you feel like you should do. Just do what you want to do. And that's all she challenged me to do. But I took that seriously. And so what that meant was anytime I was mostly sitting at my desk, that's when I started to feel the shoulds. When I felt, okay, this feels like resistance. I feel like I should be typing this. I don't really want to be doing this activity. That's when I literally stood up from my desk, left my room, and I went to do something else that I wanted to do. And sometimes that was something like a nap, or I tried plaster art that I've been wanting to do for a while. But other times it was things like I wanted to get the dishes done. I wanted to pick up my room that just had folded jeans on my dresser that I just needed to hang up and put those away. Like I wanted to do those things. So it was a mixture of productivity things and peaceful, relaxing, joyful things. But whatever it was things that I wanted to do. And then when that was done, I would come back to my desk and say, all right, what do I want to do? And then I would start doing that. And sometimes I would go back to writing the email, or I would go back to writing the caption, or I wouldn't want to do those things still. And I would do whatever it is that I wanted to do. I would do a completely different activity. That was what got me thinking that, wait, I don't have to be doing all of these things. And I can create a business and a life where I enjoy what I'm doing. And there were still fears behind it, but that's where I thought, at least for 1 month, I can play around with this. I can test out, at least with removing social media, what it would be like. Hey guys, I felt like this was becoming a longer episode, and so I wanted to pop in real quick and let you know about a free journaling workshop that I'm doing tomorrow, May 7th at 1:30 p.m. Eastern. That is all about how to feel like you're doing enough in all areas of your life. So if you're ready to change your mental headspace from feeling like you're never doing enough to feeling peacefully fulfilled in your career, with your family, and with yourself without adding more to your already full plate, click the link in the show notes and I will see you there. Okay, let's dive back in. Let's get into the lessons. The first lesson that I've learned is that I have become very insensitive to the fact that Facebook and Instagram can actually be used to connect with others. I have been using that platform, both platforms, for so long. And I've been using it for my business mostly, so that when I was connecting with people, because that was part of my business, was connecting with people. And I loved that part. That was my favorite part, was connecting with women. Was what I mean by that was I would reach out to them, wish them a happy birthday. I would check in on their lives. I would comment on their posts. I would do all their things. And I loved that part, but I was doing it in such an abundance and as many as I could that I just became insensitive to the fact that it meant something to them and to me. And I wrote about this in my email last week that my friend Holly posted about her pregnancy announcement a couple weeks ago. And I saw it in my feed. I think that I liked it and I scrolled on by. If anything, I might have commented. And if I commented, I put congratulations and then kept scrolling. And it wasn't until a few days later that I was reflecting on this that I was like, wait, I do actually care that she's having her third baby, but the baby announcement wasn't just that it was her third baby. She was announcing that she was having twins, which is even cooler because you may or may not know that I am a twin. And so I was like, wait, hold up. I do care that she's pregnant. It's so cool to me that she's having twins. I'm wondering how she's feeling. I'm wondering what her thoughts are on having twins. And I want to connect with her about this. And so just being on the platform for so long, I became insensitive like that. My mindset when I'm on social media is just swipe, like, maybe comment, scroll, like, maybe comment, just this like robotic movements instead of truly connecting. I'm curious if anyone else is like that, or maybe it's just because I was using it for business in that way. But that was one of my lessons, was you actually can connect if you're in the right mindset and using the platform to connect. The second lesson is that I need to trust that I'm doing the right things, and that I don't need to scroll Instagram to find the next best prompt or the next post idea or the next hack to get more clients or help scale my business, and that I'm just doing the right things. This kind of goes into my next lesson, but I need to know, and I'm going to challenge this for you as well, pulling you into this. If you are compelled to leave social media or cancel, quit any of your habits, know the why behind leaving social media or quitting whatever it is you're thinking of doing, or knowing the why behind what you're hoping doing that thing or not doing that thing will fix. Because if you don't get to that deeper meaning, you will search for it elsewhere. And I'll give you a quick example, but I'm actually going to dive deeper into this in a completely different episode in a few weeks. Just this morning, my one thing that I wanted to do while my dad is watching Griffin after a sleepover last night was record this episode, because I don't know if you can tell, but I've been very excited to share all of these things with you. Right before I sat down, I hooked up my microphone, I pressed play, I distracted myself with filling out an application for a business community that I've been meaning to join since I went to a networking event, actually exactly a month ago. It was like this business application. I saw it sitting on my desk and my mind went, oh, let me just do this so that I can put the paper in the trash and it's less clutter on my desk. But after thinking about it, I thought I did not want to be spending my time doing that. I wanted to be recording this podcast. And it felt like that business application took the place of scrolling social media. My brain is wired to be distracted, and knowing the deeper meaning behind why I scroll will help me to not do things like that. My deeper meaning behind why I scroll that I've journaled through using that Calm Mind Blueprint is because I feel like there's a missing piece, that I'm missing a piece to my business or to parenting or to something where if I can just find it, everything else will be easier. Griffin will start sleeping through the nights. My business will start making more money. I will have the best body of my entire life. Something. Right? And I think that I will be working on this the entire month of May and beyond. It's just so interesting to me to be this aware that it's not actually social media. It's so much deeper than that. And it's not the thing in your life that you think it is. It's a few layers deeper than that. Knowing what that is, and then for me at least, that second lesson of trusting that I am doing the right things. I don't need to be scrolling or distracting myself with that business application that, yes, I did submit it, but I don't need that to know that I'm on the right path and doing the right things. And who knows, maybe this episode, someone will be inspired to work with me from it or not work with me, but sign up through that Calm Mind Blueprint and they will be able to work through a really big, tough emotional time that they're going through or a really big decision that they keep second guessing themselves on. And they will find the clarity that they need. That would mean the world to me as well. The next lesson is patience. That my podcast will grow at the right time. I've been wanting to become a top 5 podcast for a while. And I just think it was so, I don't know what the word is. Would serendipitous be the right word? That might be the completely wrong word. Just so timely that right before I'm relying on my podcast, it suddenly becomes a top 5% podcast. Like I did nothing different. And bam, right before all of this goes down, it's a top 5% podcast. So just being patient that the right people are listening, that I'm making the right moves in my business. My emails are speaking to what the women on my list need to hear and what they need support in. And then the last lesson is investing in my in-person friendships and in growth. I've been doing that in my business growth. I've been doing that for a while, investing in that. And it's felt so good. I've loved like my business coach and having that coach role. I actually had a coach way before I had the finances to do that, before I even started my journal coaching business. It was actually right when I started a podcast, which if you don't know, you don't make money by doing a podcast. You do a podcast because you love it. And so I was working with a business coach just because I wanted to do something with my life beyond network marketing. And I didn't know what it was. And I was like, maybe I'll do a podcast. So that was when I first truly invested in a business coach. And then I'm investing in one right now. And she's helping me a lot with so many different things. Even like you heard earlier from the challenge of her insights of, it seems like you're doing a lot of shoulds right now. And just having somebody to bounce ideas off of and see you for what you're doing and hear you with what you're saying that you don't hear yourself saying. That's my favorite, I should say, my favorite compliment. And what I hear my clients say back to me is that I hear what they're not hearing themselves say. And I reflect that back to them and I let them reflect on that. And then they're able to have some really powerful breakthroughs from that. So I love that aspect of my coaching. I think that maybe now that I'm talking it out loud, maybe it's because it's my favorite part of the coaches that I've invested in. And now I get to pay that forward in my clients. But anyways, I've been doing that in a professional landscape, but not doing that in my friendships. And so the lesson for me is investing in in-person friendships. And so this month, I'm really going to be trying hard to meet up with friends for coffee or walks. And if I'm being honest, that has been a goal of mine all year long, like a 2025 mission, but especially in May, it's going to be something I'm focusing on. All right, now let's get into some prompts for you to reconnect yourself with some of the habits that you're doing. I'm not going to give you time to actually journal on these right now. I will type them up in the show notes for you. If you actually want to journal with me, I do Thursday episodes now called Journal with Me or 5-minute journal prompt, something where you can actually journal with me. I give us time and some music to journal together. Or if you're driving, they're easy enough where you can actually just think through it as you're driving or doing the dishes and your hands are wet or something. Today, I'm just going to talk you through them. So the first prompt is write a list of your thoughtless habits throughout the day, both good and bad. Maybe you wake up or you press snooze. Maybe you scroll to wake up. That's what I used to do. Maybe you wake up when your alarm goes off, or perhaps you snooze 6 times. Maybe you scroll your phone right away. Maybe you think that it helps you to wake your brain up. That's what I used to do. Then you make coffee or shower, get dressed, go to work. Maybe you listen to music on the way to work or listen to a personal development book. At work, you sit at your desk all day long, except for lunch and one water cooler break. You leave at 4 p.m. to go get your kids from school. Then you make dinner, do dishes, read books, do bath time in bed, watch Netflix with your partner, then go to bed. Whatever it is for you, just kind of write it all out. Good, bad habits, doesn't matter. Just jot it all down. Prompt number 2, of those habits or the time of day, which have you forgotten the power of? And I'll give you 4 examples. Maybe you forgot the power of what you drink in the morning and you want to swap coffee with matcha. And that's something that you actually wanted to do. You just forgot about it. Maybe you forgot the power of what you listen to on the way to work, or just what you listen to in general is important, and you want to swap music with personal development. Maybe option 3, or idea number 3, leaving your desk during the workday doesn't mean you're lazy and not working. It means that you're spending time connecting with others that matter. Or perhaps dinner can be a connection time with your kids, and you can start letting them help, instead of it just being this rush time to get dinner on the table so that you can get to the next step in your routine so that you can just be done for the day. Prompt number 3, if you could rewrite what this habit means to you, why you do it, or what you're using it for, what would it put into perspective? And I'll give you 2 examples. Maybe exercising, what that means to you or why you do it or what you're using it for. Exercising means that you're becoming stronger and it shows the ability to carry your 40-pound child. Or maybe scrolling social media. It shows that you're actually connecting. We're not taking away social media, unless you're me. What you're reprioritizing or just rewriting is that social media is actually connecting, so that the next time that you are on social media, you're not just in that mind-numbing cycle of scroll, 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 like, heart, maybe comment, scroll. You are actually reading what people are writing and connecting with them. about whatever it is that they're talking about. Or here's another one. Instead of feeling like you are trying to do it all and failing at it and not asking for the support that you know that you need, or accepting support and help from others, whether it be a coach like me or your partner or even other mom friends, that is allowing them to show you their love. They feel like they're able to give something to you when you allow them to do that. It's not them bending over backwards for you and then you need to do something for them. It's actually tying you guys closer together when you open up and can allow them to see you for what you need and be there for you. All right. So those are my fears, universe winks, lessons, and journal prompts for you. I hope that any or all of this resonated with you. Again, click the links in my show notes for the Calm Mind Blueprint. And just a reminder, if you are listening to this on the day that this airs, I have a free journaling workshop on Wednesday, May 7th at 1:30 p.m. that is all about how to feel like you are doing enough in all areas of your life. We are going to go deep. There's only 3 journal prompts, and there's only 3 because A, it's quick because I know that you are busy, but B, we are going to go deep and hit the root of these things. And so if that sounds like something that you would benefit from, click the link in my show notes for that free workshop. There is no recording. So if you are available, I would love to see you there. Thanks again for being here and for helping this become a top 5% podcast. I am so grateful for you. I love you for showing up and for showing up for yourselves. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Thanks for joining me for today's journal entry. If something resonated with you, I'd love to know about it. Screenshot this episode, share it on social media, and tag me at samantha.s.says. Or even leave a review, which will help more women find this podcast to create more fulfillment in their career and as a mom. And hey, if you're thinking, I wish I could get more of this, I've got you covered. Click on the link in the show notes, which I customize each week based on what we're talking about. And I always include the link to the Calm Mind Blueprint, which are my 5 journal prompts to go from overwhelm to inner peace in 2 to 10 minutes a day. Subscribe so that you catch my Thursday 5-minute journal with me episodes and next week's full episode where we will continue this journey together. I'll see you then.